Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be some working on the E36. Bevinsee, I believe is how you pronounce it. They hooked us up with a new power steering reservoir. Now the E36s, if you guys drift yours or you road race it, you know they're pretty prone to overflowing and foaming over at the reservoir. Now a power steering cooler, I don't know that it's the power steering necessarily overheating, because a lot of folks like Chelsea DeNofa that have been doing these cars for ages and beating the crap out of them, they don't tend to really have heating issues with the power steering as much as they do just the sloshing. So all of my power steering stuff is pretty new, but the issue is that you know, the high, from what I understand at least, the high pressure line on the way in after driving it hard and sloshing it around, it just comes in too quick, causes it to foam up, and then essentially it just kind of burps over. So Bevinsee hooked it up with a Baffled you know, CNC machined power steering reservoir. So we are going to install that today. I will show you here once we get to the shop and get the car unloaded. Since we are doing some more drift prep, we have a Easter drift event coming up this weekend. I'm very excited, and we got some other stuff coming up in the next video as well. But this video is going to be the install of the parts. They also sent us a magnetic oil drain bung, which is always a good thing, especially with a car like this, where now that it's turbo, we're beating on it, and you know, we just want to be able to maintain and you know, study the health of the motor in between oil changes. So let's get to the shop, get this stuff unloaded, have some fun. All right, got the car up on the rack now. This is the reservoir. So like I mentioned before, this one is actually baffled. Now the only concern that I have is immediately after looking at this, now they didn't exactly say, they warned that this part number isn't technically for the E36, but judging based off the in and outs on the base and then just the size of it, I was like, you know, it's worth a shot. So I measured it. This reservoir, the stock one, is 5 inches in height. This one is 6. That's not so much the concern as it is the diameter for the little metal strap bracket that's down here. Worst case, I'll find a way to make this fit, but we're doing this more out of concern for the normal consumer that's going to be buying this if it does not fit and trying to modify it. So I got to move my charge pipe out of the way and get under here. It's going to make a bit of a mess. Not looking forward to that, but let's get started, get this thing installed really quick, show you guys the inside here if the camera will kind of give us enough light. So everything is O-ring sealed, got the nice baffle plate in there, you can see that, and your normal in and outs. So these do have the machine lips on them for you know, biting down on the hose. So looking pretty good. The blue kind of stands out in the engine bay, but I think the blue will look better than red. That was the only other option. So let's get cracking, get started, and get this installed. Just to give you guys a visual, if you can kind of see it, the pump is right up there, or the reservoir, this guy. So there's just the two hoses that attach. So while we're installing this new reservoir, I just want to go over a few key features of it that kind of caught my eye when they sent me the listing for the product and asked if I wanted to try it out. So basically, right off the rip, you get a high quality 6061 billet aluminum piece, and it obviously looks good with the aesthetic. They do the anodized finish. It adds a touch of style to your engine compartment. Obviously, it's rust resistant, which is nice. Not that the factory plastic is rust you know, prone to rust, but you know, the aluminum looks way nicer for sure than any bit of plastic could. Another piece of information about it that I liked was the additional fluid capacity. I mentioned previously how it measured 6 inches instead of the 5 inches that the plastic reservoir held. So the boosted capacity is going to allow for expansion, and the upper chamber is baffled, and that's to keep the fluid from foaming and splashing to a minimum. And the splashing and the foam is what I believe causes these things to burp out. And the foam comes from aeration. So oftentimes in a normal sense, that's from air in the system getting in, a leak or something, but in the sense of a drift car or a road racing car or something, that's going to be from the rapid left to right, full lock in the rack. Fluid moving at a high pressure is going to get air introduced, and you get the foam, and then it burps over. So that is going to be kept hopefully to a minimum. We will find that out at the next drift event coming up in the next video, but it just makes servicing a little bit easier because it's not brittle plastic that gets heat cycled and becomes, you know, brittle. And it extends life of the power steering because you don't have contaminants, you know, wearing out from the plastic system getting inside of it. So it looks great, and hopefully it performs as good as it looks, because we got a lot of drifting to do. So hopefully this helps us have to worry a little bit less about making sure the power steering is going to be burping over, getting overheated, or killing pumps or anything. Let's take one last look. Here is the factory reservoir with access, having the charge pipe out, and look at how nice that billet blue aluminum looks. So the other product that they sent me I wanted to go over with you is the drain plug. Now I didn't film this in hand because it's just a drain plug, but I did in fact have it on the toolbox right there. So the nice thing about this thing being a magnetic drain plug is the large magnetic surface area. It basically collects all the tiny metal particles in the oil. That way, you know, your oil pump isn't picking it up, it doesn't get caught up in the filter, allowing basically the oil to lubricate more efficiently and do its job, which less contaminants and chunks in the oil means less wear. It has a drilled head, which is actually really neat because that way it can have a locking wire attached to it so you don't lose it under vibration or heavy driving. Also made from 6061 aluminum, and then, you know, it also looks great because they offer it in 2 different colors, black and red. You can't go wrong. So save yourself your engine, especially if you're beating on it like I do, and get a magnetic drain plug. So to suck all the juice out, basically, you guys have seen these before at Harbor Freight. This is like a vacuum pump for doing the brakes. I don't personally like using it for brakes, but it works really good for sucking stuff out of reservoirs, so I just clean it in between uses. But we got that sucked out, that way that's all good to go back in the new reservoir. The lines, you can't really see them for crap. You know, they're tucked way up in here. It's these 2 ports right here. I can see them, you guys just can't. So I'm working on getting these things out right now. Honestly, it's not really fun. That's not what I thought was going to happen. You want to grab the thing at the bottom of the cabinet? There we go.
Dang, son.
I'm not mad about the floor. I'm mad that there's crap I got to clean off the subframe now. It's gracious. I mean, now it looks like a normal BMW, I suppose. Full of leaks and fluid everywhere. This thing's brand new, but you can see how dirty it is because it keeps, like I said, not boiling over per se, but foaming, and then it has nowhere to go, so it spits it out. We thought it was a bad cap design at first, but I even put the other OEM one on here and checked it because this is like a rain piece from FCP, I think, or Rock Auto, one of the 2. But even then, OEM, you know, replicate. So we'll see if this new reservoir helps, you know, at all with that. And looking right off the rip, these do appear to be roughly the same diameter. So, I mean, pretty good chance it will fit. Let's find out. But get that squeezed down in there. Okay, so it is a little bit tighter, but we just need the bolt to fit. And what do you know? It fits. It's not fully closed like it was, and again, while you're installing this, you want to leave it loose to rotate it so you can clock it for the hoses. But that's already a good sign. So this has the same replicated like OEM dipstick. It doesn't technically say full, but you know, it's got the engravings on here. So just for visual, let me pull this other one out. I need both hands, and I'll set them side by side and show you. So there you go. Basically on the stock one, anything essentially by this top line. So I'd imagine on this one it's going to be very similar just because the depth difference. Because on this Reservoir, it looks like the whole top half is kind of just open space. So I would imagine it would be going off of this top line right here for your fill level. So let's add the fluid back in. Probably have to add some more because again, the difference in the reservoir sizes, and bleed it out. Get this bled out, give it a few turns lock to lock, just like any old power steering system. Short video, but we got the part installed. The reservoir looks good. So let's recap really quick. It is, I don't know what the fluid capacity difference is, but it's about an inch taller. It does fit the stock bracket. The stock hoses do fit. The only concerning aspect, like I had mentioned just a moment ago, is the cap doesn't appear to have the same vent. Hi, me from the, 5 minutes in the future. Pull the cap off to check it. There actually is that little hole right there. So that's what we're looking for. This thing's all good. I am pretty confident that this thing is going to work as, you know, I'm hoping it will. So yeah, back to regularly scheduled outros. Regardless, the part fits. We'll have to see in the next video at the drift event this weekend if it performs as expected. If it's just an aesthetic thing you're going for, I mean, sure, I'm going for the performance benefit from it. You know, the hopefully lack of foaming up in the, you know, the fluid, but again, we'll just have to find out. So thanks for spending some time out of your day here with me. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you want to get the product for yourself, I will have a link pinned in the top comment. And yeah, I don't have nothing else for you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.